Hey everybody. Today is December 27th. Only reason I remember this because it's a day before my parents' anniversary, and funny enough, 2 days before my brother's anniversary. How foolish is my brother? Well. So, as I'm driving home and not from work, you can see I'm in a different car as there's no hole in the steering wheel. I'm in my wife's car, and I've been driving this for a while since it's got the baby sitting in the back for Lucas and all that fun stuff. Of course, it's after Christmas. I hope your Christmas was good. Ours Christmas was very fine. We got to trade some gifts. Lou's got some toys, and after I got about 4 minutes of playing with one toy, he broke it, which I was like, excellent. This is the future of my life of kids and breaking toys. But I digress. Oh, come on, dude, get over. Oh, forget it. So, what other fun things we've got going on? Well, I'm still working on stuff for City and Apocalypse. I put up a post today because I've been, in my head, I've been thinking about, horror as a genre, and whoa, almost accident. I'm looking at horror as a genre. That was actually some horror right there. Looking at, because we cover 4 good bases in Obsidian Apocalypse. We got the angels and demons fighting, which is, that's a good set of 1. And then we do, elder gods, and then we do, biohazard, bio stuff, and then we have traditional undead. But I'm thinking, the one that I really wanted to do, but I think is very difficult to do right. I've always said this from day one. I believe it totally. If you want to do like psychological horror, psychological horror is not really the easiest one to pull off. It's the difficult one. It's the one where you go, is this going to look right? Is this going to fit right? Is this going to be right? I don't know. It's got a lot of things going for it. And, I personally like doing location-based adventures, dungeon crawls, that kind of stuff, because it controls the environment where people exist in. I think when people travel from place to place and there's other stuff people can do that are outside the norm, I use norm in quotes, of things. But I'd like to find a way to do it at a location like that. So, while looking at TV tropes, because for some weird reason I love looking at TV tropes just for ideas and just getting things of different types of ideas. I mean, and also deconstructing the work you're working on, which is always good. I took a look at Cabin in the Woods, and I saw Cabin in the Woods about maybe a year ago. It's been, it came out, it was out for a bit, and I saw it, online. I think I saw it at Netflix. Whatever, that's not really important. But I saw the movie Cabin in the Woods, and I thought, this is kind of cool. I like what they did, and I like the idea behind it, and I thought that was very kind of cool. Uh-oh. Boom, look at that. This is what happens when you have the cord attached to the cord attached to the charger, and you hit it with your leg. So I'm just thinking, like, what kind of cool things would you like to see? Because doing psychological horror is really kind of difficult, I'm gonna guess. And it's not even about writing it up, because you can write it and make it thrilling and suspenseful. It's about the actual gameplay aspect of it, and I think that can be kind of cool if done right. But the problem is, with the wrong GM, it becomes a bad comedy. You want people to be maybe not like scared of but more of like thinking in the back of the head, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? That's the effect I wanted. I wanted the what the hell's effect, because that's cool. That's a cool effect. You got people screaming, horror. Big monster kills you. Yeah, there's natural fear with that. And that's the easier one to pull off. Let's be honest. Big monster attacks, slaughters everybody. You get that. Little girl with ponytail sitting in the corner. Why am I scared of my pants? That's the kind of, you want to be like the subtle fear. And when done well, it's actually kind of cool. But it's so hard to do well. And, the genre itself is really kind of cool, but at the same time, as an RPG, it's very difficult because you're turning... Alright, I'm disliking this location thing for my phone already. This has been an issue. I'm not going to talk about it now, about this. But I hate it already. That's what I'm going to do with it. Boom. Set it out of my hand. Boom. Put that down. Boom. Put this back up. Half the reason being the wire, I think. But if I'm wrong, yeah, whatever. But like I said, what was I talking about? Psychological horror. I think psychological horror, when done really, really well. Works really, really well. But I don't know if any calling adventures were really psychological, like, oh, like that kind of thing. I mean, there was ways to do it, I think. I mean, all right, this adventure, I still don't even know what I'm going to call it. So we'll just call it Cabin in the Woods, because that's what I'm calling it. That's what it's inspired by. If we can figure out a way to do Cabin in the Woods where it is like one location, and the location you're at is much bigger than you think it really is, and when you go to a room, it changes. I mean, that's another weird thing I've been really thinking of. The concept of an infinite dungeon, where you could have something like as simple as 6 tiles. People, you get 6 tiles, whatever size. Size doesn't really matter. And each thing, you see you have a room. Say if it's a bedroom, and it's got like 2 beds, and there's something on one bed, or just 2 beds, a nightstand, there's a closet, and then 1 door. There's 1 door in, and there's another door out. And that's kind of the thing. And you play with the stuff. So it's like you go to this room, and this time you go in the room, well, there's a cat on the bed, and there's this going on and that. You close the door, you go back to the same room, well, this time there's a monkey on the bed, or there's a dolphin on the bed, or, it's something. There's something else on the bed. There's something else in the closet. This thing, that kind of thing. It's like the room stays the same, but the elements in the room change each time you go in there. So you can do it basically, through infinity. So it's kind of maybe even a random roll chart. So maybe there's, over on the bed there's X, and over on this chair there's Y, and then you roll the dice, figure out what's on each room, boom, 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 you write it in, and then you go, boom, 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 and that's how you work it. And maybe it's just that simple. Maybe it's just that simple. And then you write up specific, whatever, 100 words, 70 words, whatever, write up for each little thing. And then sometimes they're monsters. Make the monsters maybe work. Maybe the monsters work in there with the role, like I don't know. It's just the chart. And maybe out of the 10 possible things you could roll in there, 3 of them are monsters on the chart. And maybe the monsters have different motifs. Or maybe this kind of monster. Or maybe you found the room and there's 3 skeletons in there. Or you found the room and there's, which I'd love to do. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite ideas, and it's stealing an idea from somebody else. But I think, it's so fantastic. There's a torso template that I think the game mechanic guys came up with in 3.5 that works now in Pathfinder. I think they have a Pathfinder version. And I always said I want to do an adventure where basically, it's these guys. It's a room where this big block is thrown on 3 bodies, and they're, what are they? Nice try, people. And they're basically crushed at the waist, And so these guys are dead. I mean, they've been dead for a long time. They're skeletons, aka zombies, aka some kind of cool undead that are still just this torso, template torso, that when people come near, they're going to start reaching for people, but people are like, they're underneath a block, you got nothing to worry about. Then all of a sudden you have them rip themselves from underneath the block, and then they become this torso that are attacking you. So I'm like, that to me sounds cool. But if you make it like a little, say if it's a room, say the room's, all right, for easy math, say the room is 20 by 20, and the block cutting the guys off is like 15 by 15. So it's only this 5-foot thing around. So there's a door, you'll walk down a little side to another door. But in the middle are the guys' bodies and torsos, or maybe it's 10 by 10. They're just they're just a little far away. So you're like, no big deal, don't have to worry about it. All of a sudden they rip themselves from the trap, and then you have these guys, these torsos attacking you. And it's like, I mean, that to me sounds freaking cool. But is it, because when there's no threat, you're thinking these guys are trapped into the rock. I'm not worried about them. They're caught in a trap. They're dead. Oh, it's undead. Oh, they're not doing anything. Oh, they can't really move. Oh, they stuck. All right, whatever. And you're like, stupid undead things, and then rip them apart and have them charged. That, to me, would be kind of cool. But it's just different. You don't usually see a lot of that. I think I like to surprise people with stuff that, you wouldn't think is normal scary. I think that's kind of scary. Like clowns. Ugh, can't stand clowns. Clowns are the devil's work. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, a clown, devil, you're a devil. Every clown. The smiley face, the white powdered face, the giggling laugh. Oh, God. I mean, maybe mine all extends from the Joker, but I know. Clowns, shoot them in the head. Don't even waste time. Don't even talk about it. Let's not discuss anything. Clown, 2 bullets in the head. And if not that, 2 arrows in the head. And if not that, 2 shuriken in the head. Hey, it's simple. It's easy. I just know clowns are bad. And, come on. There's nothing more disturbing than someone smiling at you when they're stabbing you. That's where I see a clown. Hi, kids, I'm killing you. Ugh, hurts me to my core. That freaks me out. So, I'd like to find some way to do cool psychological horror like that, or even get really crazy and do something. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to come out totally right, but just go with the flow. I'd like to do Japanese horror, but I don't want to do what Caden has done with the guys over at Publishing. I want to do more of the crazier psychological. Like Perfect Blue is a great example for that. That movie, there's moments where you don't know if you're dreaming, or if she's dreaming the film, or if she's awake, and what's going on. You can't tell. And I think that's so freaking cool. I mean, it's like, am I hallucinating? Are they hallucinating? What's going on? What? I think if you get people going, what? And confused, I think it's a good place to be. Because, most people go into a situation, I'm going to kill it and attack it with my sword. And that's a logical, well thought out, way to do it. I'm going to attack it with my sword. Well, what happens the first time you hit this thing? Your sword turns to rust and breaks. And it's something like, maybe something you wouldn't expect it. Like, you know what? It's a teddy bear. Great example. It's a teddy bear. Then all of a sudden the teddy bear twists and becomes as large as horrific, monstrous, half flesh, rotting, worms coming out, still talking to you, trying to be friendly, but it's all horrible because the scene is horrible. He's like, let's be friends, while it's trying to maul you to death. It's like, oh, this is just ridiculous. And then you swing your sword at it, you're like, oh, you're going down, homeboy. You swing your sword at it all, thing turns to rust, or it breaks, or something horrible happens, and you just got the hilt in your hand, you're like, oh, crap, this isn't what I expected. And that's the kind of thing I want to do. I want to do that kind of, moments of terror, because things that normally should work out, that you rely on, are not working out at all like they should. And you're just like, holy cow, this is not good. This is not good. And that kind of stuff. I just think that's kind of funny. I think it's funny to see the PCs freak out when things don't go their way. Because, let's be honest. Most PCs and most players, they're pretty jacked up. They got the good stats going on. They're all like, yeah, look at me. I'm whooping ass and taking names. What? And that's very much an attitude. But the second you start giving them the pummeling from hell, as I refer to it, and you just go, I'm going to attack what you love. And it's not even you, the character. It's not like I'm going to attack you and you're going to lose hit points. Because those are arbitrary numbers. You get back hit points quickly. And it's like, I'm back to full health. No, it's only temporary. But if I destroy your sword, the sword your father gave you, and your father befriended your father, and blah, 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 then it becomes, oh, son of a, what? You broke that sword. That sword was important to me. And that's the attitude people get. And I think it's more about taking about the way the items that people have. That makes it kind of just a weirdly cool, interesting setup. Because you expect certain things to happen. 1 + 1 = 2. But if 1 + 1 = 3, well, that's not right. And that gets you on a good path. Because, the second people start going from, oh, I'm not worried, I can slay this thing. Once you get the big macho guy and you kick him square in the nuts, and he kneels over, and then you take a bunch of stuff from him, and then you kick him again in the nuts. Wow, dude, run the red. It brings on a different motif. You go from being, ha ha ha, I am Superman, to, oh, geez, please save me. Please save me. I'm paying money, please save me. And, that's how I'd like it to be. I think on an adventure mindset, it gives players something to fear. And if you're not afraid of dying, which, certain people I know would be like, well, that's stupid. Dude, fear of dying and fearing loss are motivators, and they're great motivators. Just like pain. Pain's a great motivator. Causing people pain will motivate them to do certain things. Having people lose things they thought were precious to them, they thought, or are, cause other kind of motivations. The first time you get that super duper sword you've been slaying guys with for a long time, that you lose that sword, or you break that sword, or something happens to that sword where it now becomes the enemy, that changes you. Because, let's be honest, everybody's got like probably 3 weapons, right? 1 weapon for each damage type, just in case, and then a small backup, just in case. But you can do that 1 weapon, that's, the old faithful you go to. The shotgun that you just like that, try out. Every time, boom, 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 ha! This is my boomstick. All of a sudden, someone smashes a boomstick. You're like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. That's my boomstick. What the hell are you doing? And I think that's what you want to do. I think that helps bring in the psychology of horror and terror into a game. So, I think eventually I'm going to finally put this thing together and maybe make this adventure. And when I use the word make, I mean assign it to somebody else and have them write it up. I mean, I made the idea and then told them to go handle that. You know, maybe there's some people who will be interested in doing it. Some people might be interested in an adventure like that. Maybe I'll just put this online and just ask the question. Well, I did already, but I mean, I'll sit in the Paizo forums. My eyes are so dry. Maybe I'll ask them in the Paizo forums, would someone be interested in something like this? Is this the kind of adventure people would like to try out? That's an interesting question, at least for me. So there I'm with that. And plus, also with that, I mean, let's be honest. Maybe we don't do adventures. Maybe we do like more tool set worlds like we did for the first 4. Maybe add another one of those in. Hey, that's kind of cool because then we can add in maybe another race. Maybe there's a cool race we would like to do with the setting that make it even cooler. I don't know. There's a lot of cool ways you can handle this. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. It just all depends. It all depends on what you're going to do. Coolness does abound if done right. Cool. Yeah. Alright, I don't even know how many minutes in this thing is. I can't see. I'm trying to drive, but... So also with Obsidian Apocalypse, we also sent out an update because I made... there were 2 little changes that were made. Oversights on my part. Not major, but still, oversights to be changed. We changed them, we uploaded them to the original files on RPG Now. Paizo, we updated it with that new file, because that's what I was waiting for. So it should be on sale at Paizo by, I'm guessing maybe tonight, which is Friday night. I uploaded it yesterday, so I'm assuming yes. But I'm going to check when I get home, and if not, I'll just shoot an email. But I'm not worried. I'd like to have it up for the weekend, of course. And we still have it available, of course, on RPG Now. It's there, happy, smiling, doing like it's supposed to be. So I'm happy. It's all good. All good. Ooh, sleepy. Now I'm sleepy on top of that. But, you know, that's what's going on with there. I know I have to send Rick some of the races that we plan to revamp, since we're going to be doing the Usmati and the Raijin again, and getting them back in the book. The Usmati was originally in the book, but that's, we still need to work on some of the stuff with that. The idea has issues, especially for a low-level race, so we got to work on that. But it will be finished eventually, which is, semi-soon, but eventually. Watch your car. What other stuff we have going on? Neo Exodus. I have not done anything in a while, because I've been focusing on Obsidian Apocalypse. I know we have 3 weapons done. It's done. It's done. I basically need to take the work that Jeff Lee wrote them and convert them. Well, not convert, but send to the editor and convert them to layout and getting that part done. But that part's done. So we've got that. There's some more books I'm probably going to put into print from old PDFs that we're collecting together, and maybe even going back to do, some stuff. I've also been thinking about, what time is it? Oh, 18 minutes. Maybe I'll just keep going. Finding a way to add in, elves and dwarves into Neo Exodus, but in a different kind of way. Because we never really talk about them ever existing in the setting. And I've always said, I think that's also been a problem. Some people said, "Oh, I don't know what these races are. I don't know what I'll play with them. I don't know how I'd be interested in them." So I kept thinking about, let's take a look at, why doesn't Neo Exodus have these races? And I think I've come up with a decent way to explain it, and it makes sense. And it explains when other people come there, what effects this might have. But I have a good idea. I'm not 100% sure of it yet. It's not in stone. But reasonably based on, the first ones, it's a very feasible and possible situation to happen. And it kind of makes sense. And it's one of those scenarios of, if things had worked out the way, they thought they would, everyone would have been dead. But because of, that means being a different race, well, that might have saved them. That explains, why there's X amount of humans, and more importantly, why the other races for Phoenix actually exist. It's one of those kind of scenarios. So I think we can get this together. I think, and maybe if everything works out, we'll have something to talk about and get some ideas. I'm sleepy. What is going on? I just left work and now I'm like yawning like a baby. I don't get it. But before I pick up Lucas, I'm going to stop at my local gaming store, adventure game store. I'm going to talk to Brian and see what's going on with him. Brian's the manager there. I like talking to Brian about cool ideas. Brian's got some ideas I always enjoy. So we'll probably kick around with that, and then I'll go pick up Lucas, and we'll be home to watch some Shark Tank. Of course, greatest show ever, Shark Tank. If you're a business guy and you're in the RPG industry, you should be watching Shark Tank. It's fabulous. I'm just saying. A lot of good mental ideas. It's very, very cool. So we're going to do that, but I'm going to find out what came in today. Everything really came in, which I'm guessing not much, since UPS is having delivery problems. Oh, and everything works out well in my life. I might have a Chromecast at my house, which I'm very interested in seeing. Because I gotta admit, the idea, love the idea. I want to see how this really executes. Brian's got one that's worked very well for him, so I'm just all like, gotta check that out. What other stuff? My PDF is coming from the guys at Dreams Cards, so I'm trying to look at that this weekend. I looked at the PDF for Thunderscape. Was it Thunderscape? I think it was Thunderscape. Why didn't I go? Oh, I should have went there. Thunderscape? I can't remember if it was Thunderscape or somebody else. I think it's Thunderscape. I was looking at the amount of art they had in the book, and it was it's the Kickstarter that was it was originally a video game. I didn't play it, so I don't know. But there was, it looked like a nice book. I liked what I saw. They had some artwork, but I thought they needed more artwork. And the thing I didn't like, and this is something, I can't really talk about this as I'm going in. Oop, car coming out. It looks like their margins were pretty big. Let me tell you something. I've noticed that too. I think a lot of people are trying to hide it, but I've noticed it. Margins on somebody's books have gotten bigger. Initially when I did books, I was doing half-inch margin because that's what I was used to doing in the traditional publishing. But like 1 inch has become acceptable. 1 inch margins on books are acceptable. But like this book was like a 1.5, and I'm like, that's a lot of margin. But we're talking like 1.5 on both sides. Actually, maybe I'll think on 4 sides, but I know on 2 sides. So I was like, dude, the typeface is a little smaller than I expected, and this was blown up. So I was just like, why do people do this? What's going on? And this goes back to another whole argument of mine about graphic design and margins and all kinds of stuff like that. But let me stop. I think I'm just carry you in while I talk, because this will be fun. So I didn't understand what was going on with that. So it just was kind of crazy, I thought it wasn't. I didn't think it was a good idea to do, 1.5 inch margins. At least that's what it looked like to me. I think I did measure in Acrobat, but I didn't really measure. But it was enough to make me say, hey, I'm measuring that. So that's how it goes. So I'm going to go into Brian's, because I saw him through the window since I know he's working. So Brian knows the store, so I can go in and talk to him. Oh, his brother. It says his brother Keith. They look very similar. It's easy to be mistaken. I'm doing my podcast. So, me. Oh, good. There's some stuff in. Oh, excellent.
There's some new stuff in from Pathfinder.
Ooh, that's a Pathfinder. Did I actually get that? Yeah, yep. Pathfinder goodness. All right, I'm getting off this because I got things to do. Talk to y'all later.